Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Hey ladies, welcome back to Non-Negotiable Living. In today's episode, it's going to be a little bit of a truth bomb, but one that every woman needs to hear because we live in a world that glorifies fast results. Lose 10 pounds in 10 days, drop a dress size by the weekend, get bikini ready by starving yourself for spring break. And that is not the way it should be. And I have so many clients come to me or just people on Instagram saying, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of the month. I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. And sometimes those goals are just completely unrealistic. And we have to talk about why so you understand the science behind it and the detriment it can cause. But I get it, because before I was coaching women like you, I coached bodybuilders. And if you've ever seen what competitors go through before stepping on stage, you know it gets extreme. They deplete carbs, they slash calories, they cut water, and they chase that last bit of definition. And while the results look amazing for a moment, what happens afterward is brutal. Hormonal crashes, energy plummets, periods disappear, and metabolisms tank. And guess what? That's not just happening to competitors anymore. It's happening to everyday women who are unknowingly doing the same thing in the name of health. So today we're going to talk about that. First off, we're going to start by talking about rapid weight loss. What actually happens in your body? So let's get into the science. When you drop weight quickly, it's usually not just body fat. Here's what you actually lose. First off, you're losing water weight, especially if you're cutting carbs. Every gram of glycogen or stored carbs in your muscle holds about 3 grams of water. So when you cut carbs, the scale drops fast, but it's not fat. It's hydration and it's energy leaving your muscles. The second thing that you lose is muscle mass. When you are underfed, your body breaks down lean tissue to use for energy. And yes, you'll lose fat too, but the majority of what you're losing is water weight and muscle mass. Now here's the problem. That muscle mass is your metabolic engine. It's what keeps your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate, high. That's the number of calories your body naturally burns at rest just to exist. So when you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories your body naturally burns at rest. That's why for people like me who have really high muscle mass percentages, we have more food flexibility. We have the ability to eat more calories without gaining weight because our body naturally needs more calories just to survive. So for example, I'm 5'2". I'm 145 pounds, but I'm only 18% body fat. So if you sat me next to another 5'2", 145 pound woman who is maybe 40% body fat, our metabolisms run drastically different. My metabolism runs at a higher rate because I have more muscle mass. It allows me to eat more. It's harder for me to gain fat. Those are all benefits. So we can't just think about weight as the determining factor. We have to think about body composition and body fat percentages and muscle mass percentages. Because when you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. So every time you go on a crash diet, you come back with less muscle, a slower metabolism, and a body that burns fewer calories, even when you're doing nothing. That's why over time, losing weight gets harder and harder. And it's not just your willpower that's broken, it's your metabolism that's been down-regulated from chronic restriction. So let's talk about how your metabolism actually works. Let's break this down a little bit further because women hear metabolism all the time, but very few women actually know what it means. So your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE, is made up of 4 parts. Your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That is the calories you burn at rest. About 60 to 70% of your total calories are burned at rest, whether you do anything or not. Then you have NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So those are all the calories you burn moving throughout the day. Walking, fidgeting, doing chores around the house. And then we have EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. Those are the calories you burn from intentional workouts. So that's going to be your cardio days. That's going to be lifting weights. That's going to be doing yoga, Pilates, your HIIT workouts, all of that. Then you have TEF, the thermic effect of food. And that's the calories burned from digesting your food. And protein has the highest thermic effect, which means that the more protein you eat, you burn more calories than you would if you were consuming more carbs or fats. So all of these components are fuel dependent. Your body needs energy or calories to burn energy. So when you eat too little for too long, your body downshifts. Your NEAT decreases, which means you subconsciously start to move less because you have less energy. Your TEF drops and your thyroid hormones start to slow production to conserve energy. And it's not laziness, it's biology. Your body is protecting you. So let's talk about mitochondria, energy, and metabolic turnover. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cells in your body. Your mitochondria are responsible for converting the food you eat into usable energy, or ATP. So think of them as tiny little engines that run your entire system. When you underfeed yourself, especially when you cut carbs, your mitochondria don't have the fuel they need to function optimally. That means that you're going to experience lower energy, slower body recovery after workouts, brain fog, hormonal dysregulation, and metabolic slowdown. So your metabolism isn't broken, it's just underfed. Because fuel runs your system, just like gasoline runs your car. And without it, everything from your thyroid to your brain function to your digestion starts to downshift. So let's talk about the hidden cost of chronically low calories. Because this is what I see all the time with women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They're eating healthy, they're skipping breakfast, they're living on salads, and they're doing cardio every day. And they're running on fumes, literally. So here's what happens when calories and carbs stay too low for too long. First off, hormonal imbalance. Low energy intake elevates your cortisol levels, which are your stress hormones, while suppressing reproductive hormones like estrogen and progesterone. So chronically high cortisol makes it almost impossible to lose belly fat, and it actually preserves it as a survival mechanism. So all those women who are chasing crash diets, low calories, they're actually doing the opposite effect because they're causing their body to go into defense mode and trying to hold on to all of the body fat it can, especially around the belly. The next thing that you experience is thyroid slowdown. Your thyroid regulates your metabolism, and when you don't eat enough, your thyroid hormones like T3 decrease and your metabolism slows further. We also increase risk of osteoporosis. Women in perimenopause and menopause already face an increased risk of bone density loss because of declining estrogen. When you add rapid weight loss and low-calorie diets, studies show that breakdown of your bones increase and bone formation decreases, worsening the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. Now, the next is your energy and mood. Low glycogen equals low brain fuel. So you're going to feel anxious, foggy, irritable, and exhausted. When you talk about getting hangry, it is literally biological that you feel that way. Also, we experience a loss of lean mass. Like I said earlier, the more muscle you lose, the slower your metabolism becomes. So if you're constantly eating low calorie, you're not going to be putting on muscle mass. You're actually going to be burning through it and slowing your metabolism down more. And that's why so many women experience the rebound effect. So let's talk about that. Studies show that 80 to 95% of people who lose weight rapidly gain it all back plus some within 2 to 5 years. Now here's why. You lose muscle during that restrictive diet. You regain fat after the diet because your metabolism has slowed from the muscle loss. Your metabolism is slower than it was before. And you go back to eating normal calories because chasing a low-calorie diet is not sustainable. So it's a vicious cycle that you end up on where you cut calories, cut carbs, you lose weight, you lose muscle, you slow your metabolism, and then it's unsustainable and you quit. And you go back to eating the way that you were before, and then you gain all the weight back and then some because your metabolism has slowed. So that means you gain back more fat than you already had to begin with, even if your total body weight still looks the same. This goes back to the example where I said, me as a 145-pound woman with 18% body fat versus a other 5'2", 145-pound woman with 40% body fat. Our bodies will look drastically different. Our health levels will look drastically different, even though we weigh the same. So the cycle of lose, plateau, binge, regain isn't just mentally exhausting, it's physiologically destructive. Your body becomes metabolically inflexible, meaning it struggles to switch between burning carbs and fats efficiently, and you feel stuck no matter what you do. So let's talk about how to fix this. And that's where reverse dieting and sustainable deficits come in. So this is where we flip the script on the health industry. So if you come to me after months or years of low-calorie dieting, I don't put you in another deficit. We have to reverse you out of the deficit you've been living in. So many women come to me and they say, I eat 1,200 calories a day. Well, I'm obviously not going to tell you, well, we need to eat 1,000 in order to lose weight. What we're actually going to do is we're going to reverse it. We're going to slowly increase your calories, usually by 100 to 150 calories a week, until we get your metabolism functioning again. Your workouts we'll set up your workouts and get your step count consistent so that we can burn calories through movement rather than just through a deficit as we start to get you eating more. But we're gonna start teaching your body to feel safe again. So once we find that maintenance level, you can introduce a small strategic deficit, or if your body responds well during the reverse diet, then we only ever aim for about a 200 to 300 calorie deficit per day. Then we aim to increase our calorie output through walking and movement. And that's how we get results that actually stick. Not a crash diet, not low calories, not something unsustainable, not cutting carbs, but it's slow and methodical. But it works every single time. It's science, because the goal isn't to just lose weight fast, it's to lose fat forever and never gain the weight back. So please remember, if you're on a plan that promises rapid results, that's not a plan, it's a problem waiting to happen. Fast weight loss steals your muscle, slows your metabolism, wrecks your hormones, and leaves you worse off than you were before. Sustainable change comes from feeding your body, not starving it. We have to build muscle to increase our metabolism, which keeps us from gaining the fat back later. Walking and daily movement helps us burn extra calories so we don't have to be in a drastic deficit. Eating more protein for the thermic effect, but also to build muscle through our workouts. Making sure that we're fueling with carbs so that we have proper cellular turnover and we have metabolic flexibility. We're also getting enough energy to help balance our hormones and keep us from getting brain fog and feeling terrible. And also resting when our body needs it. Our body needs at least 2 days of rest a week, because health isn't just about how fast we can lose weight, it's about how well we can keep it off and feel good while we do it. You deserve better than a crash diet. You deserve to feel strong, balanced, and in control in your body. But it starts with giving your metabolism what it needs to thrive, not just survive. So if you feel like you've been stuck on this vicious cycle for years and years and you want to finally get off of it, reach out to me on Instagram. I hope that you guys are having a great day. Keep leaning into your non-negotiable habits. And if you ever need any help, let me know. Have a good one.